In addition to the lies that Trump told in his speech, perhaps more damaging is the things that never even came up in it, that do come up in president's speeches, both Democrat and Republican. Whether they make much headway on these issues, they at least talk about them. He didn't, and we're going to have a nice, concise summary of some of the things that were not addressed by a face that you might recognize.
When you analyze a speech, sometimes what is more important is what somebody does not say as opposed to what they actually say. Some examples. I did not hear President Trump say one word, not one word, about Social Security or Medicare. Even worse, President Trump has proposed a massive cut to Medicaid. Massive cut. I urge President Trump, keep your promises. Tell the American people, tweet to the American people that you will not cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. I did not hear President Trump tonight mention the words income and wealth inequality. Not only did President Trump not mention the issue of voter suppression, what Republican governors are doing all over this country to make it harder for people to participate in our democracy, but the truth of the matter is his administration is now working overtime with Republican governors to make it harder for young people, low-income people, senior citizens, and people of color to vote. That is an outrage. Perhaps most astoundingly, at a time when the scientific community is virtually unanimous in telling us that climate change is real, that it is caused by human activity, that it is already causing devastating problems in our country and all over the world, I did not hear President Trump say one word, not one word, about the need to combat climate change, the greatest environmental threat facing our planet.
Well, that's true. Huge threats.
Yeah.
Discussed.
I love that a person who in the past was considered by cable news is like, oh, yeah, that cranky old guy, maybe we'll have him on because it'll be, because we need somebody to make a progressive case at some point, I guess. If we can't get anybody else, let's get Bernie. And I know I was in the building. That was the way that they thought about it. Now he's the standard bearer.
Yeah.
Okay, Trump speaks. Now let's hear what the other side has to say. Let's go to Bernie Sanders. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, we cover the forums. It's easy to say that they're just doing it for the money, which is probably the case, but they are doing it. And so we know that one of the things that hurt Bernie the most early on in the primary was that simply people weren't seeing him enough. And if they keep him on for the next few years, that's not going to be the case. His name recognition will be much higher going into the next election.
Yes, and I want to add one last thing to what Bernie Sanders said there. Look, when Trump falls, the Republicans will pretend that they were never with him. So let's be clear right now. They're completely with him. You saw it last night. Everything he said, standing applause, standing ovation, nonstop applause. And so when he doesn't talk about climate change, the Republicans love it. They hate climate change. It's not just Trump. Income inequality. Republicans have no plans to fight income inequality because they don't mind income inequality. They represent the rich. It's not just Trump. It's the entirety of the Republican Party. Yeah. So they've got to own it. So it's great to see Sanders making that point about Trump, but really it applies to the entire GOP. Let's put some watchers on the wall, investigative journalists to run down the Trump administration and the establishment. You can make that happen. tytnetwork.com/go.